Good morning. Welcome to Dragons 2, the Dragoning. So it is now about noon on Monday. Yesterday I made the basic kind of outline shape of the flying dragon, and today I want to build on that by doing all the details. So first off, I'm just going to show you what the dragon animation currently looks like. Also, I think I still have to spend a little bit of time getting some of the outline a little bit better, because I think it's still suffering from some cases where the dragon's movement is sort of turning it into sort of pulsating in size rather than just moving back and forth. So we'll see about that. Also, this time around I actually have a second machine up again, so I can see if you are making comments, and I can answer any questions you have about the game or other things, the fundamental nature of reality and so on. Okay, so let's get started. Okay. Let's just go into the game. I'll show you what the dragon looks like currently. So what I did the last episode, I'll just sort of tell you while we're booting here, is I basically wrote a bit of custom code that describes the motion of the various parts of the dragon in terms of offset sine waves. And then once I had this, once I had basically a bunch of frames that sort of suggested the general blocked out layout of the dragon, I then drew the outline of the dragon on top of it, because if the outline doesn't move right, then you shouldn't start putting in all the detail, because if that's just going to be more work fixing that again. So it already has to look like a dragon moving in its outline. I'll show you what that looks like right now. So dragon is technically an airship. All of these monsters I'm putting into the game are really just types of airships that are secretly made out of monster parts. And here we go, here's our dragon. I'm just going to put in, because I need an opponent, I'm just going to put in a building and make it point in the wrong direction as usual. And here we go. Zooming in so you can see it properly, that's the current animation cycle for the dragon, and I'm actually really happy with it as it goes. My only concern is a little bit that I think there's still some weird back and forth going on with the back of the neck and the chest, which I'd like to isolate. Compared to that, for example, the tail, there might even be some stuff like that going on as well, but that moves enough that you can't quite tell, I think. So the first thing I'm actually going to do here is I'm just going to go and edit the data files to make the... Just going to slow down the animation by a factor of 10, because then we can hopefully actually see what's going on. And I think, yeah, here it is. Here's the actual animation file, so I can then just sort of go back and forth and fix any last issues with the outline before moving on to the details. Okay. So it's technically possible, though I haven't implemented it. It's actually technically possible to reload the game data even while the combat is running, because you can just serialize the combat in the background, which is fast, so it just turns it into a text file essentially, reload all of its data and load it back in. So I'm actually somewhat tempted to put that in as a debug feature at some point, because it would actually make working with the stuff even nicer, because I could literally just press edit the file, save it, press reload, and it will change the animation on the screen, which would be pretty neat. Okay, but for now we just have slightly more steps. something. Okay. So now it's moving very slowly. Okay, so I think here, in this frame, we have this extra pixel here, which just sort of appears out of nowhere for no good reason. So let's see if we can fix that. That's a difference in between when the wings are slightly up and when they're not really up at all. So that's that frame. And the previous frame is actually this one. Let's just go through this again. I'm not sure. There it was. So it's on the downstroke. So between and here, so I need to remove this here pixel. There. Okay, here's another one. So in between, almost all the way up and all the way up, a sort of this gap in the tail that gets weirdly filled in. Yeah, between here and here. That gap should either be there or not be there, I think. I think the answer is not. This bit is just a bit inelegant. That's when it's mostly down. Yeah, there you can see that just looks a bit odd. So let's carve away a few pixels from here and add a few pixels there, and I think that's going to look cleaner. It's only against this massive hump when the wings are all the way down, which it really shouldn't. Okay, so I think I just need to shave off a little bit off the top in those frames. Let's just grab this. So here we're now only 2 pixels above, and here we're 3 pixels, so let's get rid of this hump here entirely. Then we'll just sort of carve out a bit of dragon here, and slot in this. Then adjust a little bit, there we go. I think that's going to look better. I have a distinct hope that that's going to look better. All in all, they haven't just fiddled around that made things look differently bad. So just going to re-export this, and now go back into the game. Yeah, I think that's better now. We'll countenance that. Okay. So I'm just going to actually commit this as a version on Git. So if I mess things up horribly, I can go back to it later. So now, next thing is creating the actual detail on the dragon. Now, because of the way the game works, actually a lot of the detail of what you'd usually think of as detail is going to be done by editing the lighting normals. I'm really only defining as detail in this image. I'm only defining the colors, the base colors that things have. So, but there are of course some changes. In particular, Mr. Dragon here needs eyes and claws and most importantly a mouth. So let's see how well we can actually now draw that onto it. So we're again going to take this baseline image. I believe that's the one we used. No, it's not. That's the one we used, where the wing is all the way up. And we're going to work from this baseline image and add the details. I'm just going to add the details on the new layer entirely, just because I'm paranoid. I don't want to mess things up that they already have. So we again need the color scheme. So basically what we need to define is where's the mouth and where's the eyes. And that's probably going to be a bunch of annoying fiddling back and forth. I'll just start out by trying to draw those on there. And it's probably going to look terrible in the first 73 tries. There we go. Now it's got a moustache or something. Yeah. One of the questions was is that can we, because you have an exact side-on view, how open is the dragon's mouth? Can we see in between its teeth the sky on the other end? It doesn't really have lips, of course. Also need to make sure it retains an actual lower jaw. Okay, so the actual eyes should be this bright yellow color. I guess we want to give it pupils. There, he's a little cartoonish, but you know, maybe one day we'll get there. Teeth. Let's give it teeth that might make it look significantly less cute. No, it just makes it look more cute. That's great. That looks like a child's drawing. Awesome. Might need some work. Yeah. Let's make the eyes smaller. That helps. It's starting to look mildly less terrible. Yeah, okay, it looks a bit less bad. Now the teeth are, I think, too regular. Or too big or something. Okay, that's another improvement. Yeah, that's better, yeah. Moving the nostrils a bit back into the side. Um, no. I mean, that's better. I'm still not really happy with it. Let's try if the head shape needs some alteration. Let's move this back. Okay, it's starting to look a bit scarier. Let's give it a really big mouth, huh? Big. Yeah, I think now we're starting to talk about actual scary dragoniness. Let's not give it to people. I think that will look scarier. Comments and suggestions on how to make the dragon look better are of course welcome. Right, so in practice now I'm going to have to actually shave off some bits here. Like that maybe. Let's try the teeth thing again. Maybe the teeth just need to look dirtier. Um, give them that colour. It's starting to look scarier, certainly. I feel like I can countenance this now. So I'm not entirely happy with it, honestly. There, that's better yet. My big question still is, does it get a pupil? And if so, what exact colour? Yeah, that's better, that's better. Give it that wiring colour as well. I think that now works. Yeah, that's a dragon. Cool. So now the other bits that we need to do actually are the claws. There. Okay, now we just just need to transfer this extra layer onto every single one of the other dragons and adjust it and so on. So let's get started. Just the dragon's face and the dragon. But like there, I guess. Yep. That needs to go up one. Needs to go up two. There. Yep. Nope, wrong layer. Yep. There. I might redo the head shape a little bit in a moment. I think trimming off a little bit of fat here will make it look scarier. Yeah, I think that's what needs doing. Okay, well, I'll first all of this. Which is of course roughly the reverse of what I'm doing right now, but never mind. Whoops, nope. Yeah, more like that I think will be better. Yeah, definitely. Now it's got less of a weirdly pouchy head. Yeah, that looks scary. Yeah, that looks way better. That was maybe the main problem. Okay. Well, I'm sure we can adjust that on all the other frames too. OBS, which is what I'm using to stream, is being too heating and making the laptop put out a huge amount of heat. Hmm. Last one. Then we can go back over and get rid of the kind of weirdly bulgy head in the earlier frames. We'll try it out again. Yep. Yep. Okay, so there, weirdly bulgy head. That's better. That's better, yeah. Next, weirdly bulgy head. Yeah, that's probably pretty much good. Yep. Yeah. I think we've got this. So let's re-export it and see what it looks like in game. Let's see. Oh, it's still using the slow-mo animation speed. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's just got this weirdly disappearing, pulsating underbite that needs getting rid of. We can do that. So first off, get that down, then here. It's a bit hard. So make it this flat everywhere. Instead than too flat. We'll see. Okay, now we've given it a very flat underjaw. Which I'm not sure is an improvement. We'll see. And always Control C if it turns out to have been completely the wrong thing to do. Actually, it looks good. So now the only complaint I think is maybe that, yeah, there's a bit too much winning and losing here in the throat, huh? There's one particular frame where there's a height to sort of bit with the throat here. I mean, if nothing else, that should just be smoothed out like this. But apart from that, okay, that might be about it in terms of what really needs doing. Because I do feel like the jaw needs exactly one more pixel here. If I'd been sensible, I would have started doing this. Damn it. You know, the other thing I want to know is, wouldn't it look better, actually, if the lower jaw was a bit thicker? Yeah, just like there. Yeah, it would look better. Okay, time for jaw surgery for a frame. There. One last export and I think we can call it good. And the next thing is going to be the surface normals, which I will probably not stream because they're incredibly boring to paint. And it will just involve me looking at weirdly coloured stuff for several hours. But I'll show you the final result, of course. Yeah, I think that works. I feel like perhaps it needs sort of more of a kind of draconic looking uppery cresty type thing. Yeah, that might make it look better yet. Let's try that as a last thing, huh? One moment. Okay. Draconic crest thing. So again, let's go to our standard frame, which is this one. And here in our dragon plastic surgery layer, here's one option, sort of horns and shit. Or then, failing that, let's just use another frame. We could just actually put so horns I think look better. These zags just look a bit questionable, incredibly hard to animate properly. So no zags. But yeah, totally is some kind of horn thing like that. But that looks more dragony. Okay, well, let's put the horn thing like that in all the other frames. Just adding a little hat, essentially. That's better yet. Re-export. Reload. Yeah, it's good except for the fact that we clearly had the hat in the wrong place in one frame. But apart from that minor detail, it looks great. Cool. Okay, yeah, there. There. Fixed. Okay, I think that's it for now. As I said, the next thing is just going to be doing all the surface normals, which will make it really look less like a silhouette drawing and more like a 3D dragon, hopefully. But that bit's moving, so I'm not going to stream it. So that is all just for now. Just gonna lead out with one last nice look at the actual animation cycle, I guess. So we export. Reload. There we go. That's our dragon. I am fairly pleased with this. I think in practice probably the snout here might adjust that a little bit yet, but we'll see. Yeah, might still do some fiddling. But it's pretty good. Okay, that is all. I bid you a good afternoon. I'm going to find lunch. I suggest you find, I don't know, whatever pleases you. And I'll see you all in the future.